Okay, we're going to create a simple budget, okay? Now, for our simple budget, it's going to help us do the student budget spreadsheet, or the student budget assignment. Yeah, I said I'm going to go over it.
I didn't hear that.
So listen up. For this one, I'm going to put gross income, and then deductions, net income, which is going to be the gross minus the deductions. And then for the two budgets that you guys are going to create, I think one of them has extra income that you're going to have to put in here. And then this is going to be total income. Okay, now if you guys are using this budget for yourself, you'll probably just need these ones right here. You probably won't need the gross and the deductions because you just need to put your check right here. And that'll be sufficient. Whatever your check is, that's your net. Okay, now it's time for the numbers. For gross income, I'm going to put 0 in there for now. For deductions, we're going to say equals, negative, and there's two functions we're going to use. We're going to use the round function. Here, let me make that a little bigger. We're going to use the round function, and we're going to use the product function. So we're going to round a product. The product...
He's going over it again.
So its product is 0.2, which is 20%, and you're multiplying that times the amount that's in B1, which is the gross income. Then you do close parenthesis to wrap that up. And now that was for the product function. The next function is the round function. I want it to round to 2 decimal places. So I'm going to say comma 2 and close the parenthesis, press enter to finish it up. The net income is going to be the sum of the gross, comma, and the deductions. Close parenthesis. So if you do it right, let's see, I'll put 200 in here. 20% is 40, and when I add them together, it's 160. Okay, so next, for extra income, we're going to put 0 in that one, 0 in the next one, and then for total income, we're going to sum up the extra incomes and the net income. So net income, comma, extra income, and then close parenthesis, that one's done. Now for a little bit of cosmetic things, I'm going to make this gray. So this is going to be, there it is, right there. Make it gray, and now I'm going to start making my categories.
You just highlight the whole thing?
Yeah, I highlight the whole thing, and then there's this thing that looks like a pink bucket that's spilling over. That's the fill color. Okay, so the first category I think is give. Can you guys help me out with this? I don't remember it. I think it's giving.
Can you hear it?
Okay, so equals sum, and we're going to sum up the cells underneath it. Now I'm gonna select the cells differently this time. I'm not gonna select one at a time, which you can do. You can select one at a time. I'm gonna select this cell and then drag it down until about row 18. It doesn't matter how far you go. I'm gonna stop at 18. Then close parenthesis, enter, and there you have it. This is my category for giving, and I'm gonna highlight all of it, and then I'm gonna make a fill color. There you go. So just a reminder. This budget right here that we get from the activity, it's also in your textbook. It has the categories that we're putting in our spreadsheet. Okay, you see the giving, saving, food, clothing, transportation, personal, and recreation. Those are our categories that we're going to use. Could you technically create more categories? Absolutely. But notice underneath each of these categories, you have the items. Like in personal right here, we have cosmetics, music. This could be your Spotify, gifts, pocket money. Those are the types of things that go in the personal. Look, there's also cell phone. The transportation, which is way up here, gas, car insurance, oil changes. Those are the the different items you could have in that category and so on. Okay, so let's go back to this. You guys should have that category. Now I want you guys to stop working for a second and watch what I'm about to do because it's going to be really quick. We got to do the other categories. And so this is how I'm going to do it. I'm going to select all the cells for this category, and I'm going to press Control-C, which means copy. And then I'm going to go over to the next cell right here where the next category is going to go, and I would say Control-V, which means paste. And then before I do anything else, I'm going to go ahead and change the fill color on that one right away.
Hold on.
Okay? Now I'm going to do this guys, hold on. I'm doing this 5 more times, so watch. Select, Command, Control-V. I'm changing the color. Control-V, changing color. And then Control V, change the color again. I'm almost done, hold on. I need 7. Control V,
How many do we need?
7 categories.
Alright, thank you.
And then, I think that's our last one. Okay? And then I'm gonna change them really quick. So it's giving, saving. I can't remember if this one's food or clothing. And then clothing. Just changing all the names here. I think this one is transportation. And then
Personal.
personal, yep, personal. And then finally, the last one is going to be recreation. I don't really like the recreation. I like entertainment better, but you guys can put whatever you want right there. So a few cosmetic changes, which you don't have to do. It's gonna start with these columns. You see these columns where the numbers are? They're a little too big for me. So I'm gonna select the B column, and then I'm gonna hold the control button. And while I'm holding control, I'm gonna select D, F, H, J, L, and N. And that's because those are all my number columns. And I'm going to shorten those columns, and the way you do that is you go to any one of these columns, and then you go to the right side, right here, you see it? You see how the arrow changes when I go over it?
Whoa.
I'm going to grab that, and I'm going to shorten it up a little bit, and then all of them will shorten up the same length. Okay? The other cosmetic thing I want to do is like this row right here is an important row. It's like the title of each of those categories. And so you can press Control B, or you can select bold right here. I'm gonna press Control B, so it makes it bold. And then I'm gonna change the font size to 12. I want it a little bigger because it's like the title, right? Okay, so that's also cosmetic. Now, let's say, you're looking at your screen and it's kind of like this, and it's not like, you see how like you have to move over to see the other ones? If that's you and you don't like that, you could do this. Okay, now I'm going to try to go slow. I'm going to select these 3 categories right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to move these 3 categories over here. So they're right underneath these 4 categories. In order to do that, you're going to use the cut and the paste option. So to do cut, you hold Control. If you're on a Mac, it's Command. Okay, Control X. I always think of an X like scissors. That's the cut. And then click on this cell right here and do Control V, which is paste. So Control Paste, and it automatically moves it and it changes all the formulas for you. It's kind of handy, all right? If you don't like what you did, just do Control Z. That's undo. It'll go right back to where it was.
Control X to cut it, right?
The last 2 formulas are actually some of the most important. The first one we're going to say expenses. That's the number that we're going to create. And the next one is going to be extra. Okay, now expenses is going to be a negative number. So let's go equals negative sum. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to sum the totals of every category. Okay, so I'm going to select this cell right here, comma, select this cell, comma, select this cell, comma. And you keep selecting the cells that you want to sum up, and you keep pressing comma. And when you select the last cell, you're going to stop by pressing close parenthesis. Okay, let me make this a little bigger so you guys can see it. And that's what it would look like. And once you finish selecting all your cells and you do the close parenthesis, press Enter on your keyboard so that it's finished. After you do it, you can test it. I can go into some of these categories and I can add some things just for testing. So let's go to transportation. Let's add gas. And I don't know, $50 for gas. And then let's start saving for tires, right? Because you're going to need tires. So that's going to be 10.
Yeah. You don't need tires.
And you see it totals right there in my category. And look down here. My expenses are adding up, the negative. Food, like going out money. Let's say going out. Let's say, how much money do you guys need for 2 weeks? What would you say? Like $100? I'll put 100 right here, and you can see now it says negative 160 because it's totaling my food total and my transportation total. So the more you just add items and you add the amounts, and it should automatically total down there. Now, the last formula is the extra. Now, how are you guys, think about it for a second. How would you figure out how much extra money you have? Okay, let's go up here. Let's change our gross income. We'll say like 400. Okay, so right now I have 320 total income. We have $160 worth of expenses. How would you figure out what you have for extra? If you said add them together, good job. Equals sum. And I'm going to add those two together. I'm going to add expenses, the total expenses, and press comma, and my total income. And then I'm going to close parenthesis, and then booyah. It looks like I currently have 160 extra. Actually, let's change going out to 125. Oh, now I have only 135 extra.
Can you do that again, Mr.
I will do that again, but let me just finish this video here. I'm going to highlight these and then change that to gray. That's just a cosmetic thing. And there you have it, guys. That is the end of creating a simple budget spreadsheet.
Oh yeah, Mr. Patey.
We're going to use the budget spreadsheet for a couple other activities. And so what I suggest you guys do is go up to File and then make a copy and save it on your drive.
Oh, I just printed
Okay, and then also we need to create more tabs down here. Okay, we need to create more tabs because for this activity, you're going to create 3 different budgets. Okay, let me go over to the assignment really fast to show you guys. You see right here, it explains Marcus and his situation. You're going to read his situation and create a budget for him. You're going to do the same thing for Jenna, and then you're going to do the same thing for yourself. Okay, but before we get to yourself, let's focus on Marcus and Jenna. So going back to the spreadsheet, click on, you see this tab down here, guys? Click on the arrow and then say duplicate. That way, oh, you know what I should do before I do that? I should clear these out. I need to make this into 0, and then I'm going to delete this extra stuff right here. Cool, so everything's zeroed out. And then you press this and then duplicate. And so everything's duplicated now. So now I can change these budgets. Let's see, let me delete this stuff. Okay, so for this one, this tab right here, I'm going to say Marcus. I'm going to rename it, call it Marcus. And then enter. And then this is going to be Jenna's right here. Rename, we're going to call it Jenna. That's her budget. And then you have to have a budget. So this one's going to be me. That's going to be you. So this is what you're going to turn into me for this assignment. That's how you create the tabs.